All right.
All right, all right, all right. Welcome to Whiskey and Friends. Today we're going to talk about vampires versus the Bronx. This is a movie that Jay and I, felt had a lot of feelings towards. I thought it would be something very interesting for us to talk about. Jay Lewis was originally very skeptical about it, and then we
Yeah.
actually got him to watch the movie, and I can't wait to see what he thinks about it. So, guys, what you think?
It was interesting and definitely not what I was expecting it to be.
What were you expecting it to be?
I expected it to be kind of more campy and kind of just more like goofy. I mean, it was goofy, but I
It was
expected even more goofy,
it
right?
certainly was goofy. I mean, oh, and we didn't even talk about which whiskey we're going to be drinking. So we're going to be drinking a Macallan 12 Sherry Oak.
My favorite.
Finally, Jess and I have never drunk this together, even though this is her favorite whiskey. I'm gonna try to get her off the Macallan tit and get her into newer and better things. But this is a pretty damn good whiskey. So
And I actually got myself a fresh bottle
Yes.
just for this, so I could join them,
that
and
Wall
I
Street
can
money.
finally see what all the I can finally see what all the hype is about.
Oh my God,
For those who don't know, I work in technology and banking, and
Yeah.
my friend
I just mess
loves to
with
joke
him,
about-
like, talk shit about it, like, oh, he works in Wall Street. He doesn't
Yeah.
work in Wall Street. Just being a dick for being a dick.
you dick.
Yeah, you dick. So, Callan, it's from the Highland region. You have to twist it, bro.
Oh. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, I love their bottles. Their bottles are always so pretty. It's one of you see that part of their marketing, and the cost of the bottle kind of goes into how artistic they are with the shit.
Yeah.
So this whiskey, unlike some double woods that finish their whiskey in sherry, this whiskey is 12 years aged in sherry, so
Hell
it's
yeah.
expected to be a lot sweeter. You can see that the color is like pretty dark.
It's beautiful.
Like, yeah, it's beautiful. It's like kind of like an amber looking beer-ish kind of color, and so that's directly because of the sherry wine casks. And so we're expecting this to be a very, very sweet thing. And once Jay's fucking done serving himself, we can actually sip. Oh, smell. Did you already smell like some sweetness?
Yeah, just from the cap.
Yeah, I know. I got that same thing when I opened the Balvenie 12 Double Wood for the first time. It's just like I could get all these fruity honey vanilla notes and a lot of wood just from opening the bottle and smelling like, yeah. And then once I actually served it, it was. We're looking at like this.
Right?
What happened to your mic?
It is up here.
I was like, am I hearing somebody in the background? Jesus Christ, Jay, we're professionals.
Who said?
All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Where's
Salud.
Jess? Where's the cheers?
Cheers.
So long.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
It's just so good.
It's really good, yeah.
Right.
I'm starting to reconsider retiring it.
You gotta keep on the teat, man. You gotta keep on that sweet teat. You know?
That sweet sherry teeth. I mean, it's really good. I'm just saying, like,
So
good.
good.
It certainly stands out because being completely aged in sherry certainly makes it taste much different than a lot of the things that I've drunk. And I think the Abuna, the Abulur Abuna, I think it's completely aged in sherry. I've got to confirm that. But that's one of the reasons why I initially found out about it. But once I tasted it, damn. So anyways,
good.
wow.
I'd love to hear your guys' take on it, like what you're tasting, what you're feeling, because everyone already knows this is my favorite, so I'd love to hear your perspectives.
Well, the first thing that I have, now that I'm finally tasting this for the first time, is I think all the hype that you guys have been giving it does stand to
Does hold up.
test.
Does hold up. Yeah.
Yeah, it does hold up.
It's very good.
I took that first sip and it was so smooth and sweet.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like sat in that for a while. Swallowed my sip, and just like felt that on my tongue and how it like just the flavors evolved from being like very kind of like strong hit of the sherry, and then evolving into like the vanilla and honey flavors. And something that I would recognize as raisin, but I'm not sure if the raisins actually are in there.
Ooh, I definitely feel that, honestly.
Kind of like a plum wine kind of situation. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't have notes of wood specifically. Like I
Really?
recognize oak itself, but not sherry oak, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they're basically the same thing. They're just used differently in the initial process. Like American oak is usually, unless you buy fresh oak that has not been used for specific purposes, American oak is usually sold to Scotch companies once it's been used for a few months to like 4 years. So it's lost all of its like initial sweetness and all that. But sherry oak is just oak that has been used for sherry wine. And so it's not that like aged. I can see your eyes drift. I'm so pissed.
I'm closing windows. I'm closing tabs.
He's one of these episodes. He's just not gonna give a fuck, and he's just gonna be playing RuneScape and being like unapologetic about it. I'm just
last episode there was some RuneScape happening. It was great. It was. I respect it. I respect the RuneScape.
You gotta put in the hours to the grind.
I get a lot of wood, both in nose and taste. It's certainly very, very sweet. You get a lot of like vanilla, caramel, kind of honey notes.
Now that I'm looking for the wood, I'm picking it up.
Oh no, it's like
Definitely
super. It's super
under.
present. Yeah, it's super present. Yeah, so it's like
present, but it's masked by all the sweets. And then it isn't until you're like looking for that wood. It isn't until you're looking for that baseline that you actually start to hear it. You know.
But it's a very interesting thing you mentioned about the raisins and the plum ish. Oh Lord, we've lost Jessica. Okay.
What do we do?
Oh, she's back. Okay, you froze for like 10 seconds, and so we were just like, we've lost Jessica. Do you guys notice that it's also a little smoky?
Yeah, there's some secret.
It's smoky.
Smokiness.
It's not peaty at all, but it's smoky. So yeah, the difference is like peaty would feel more like charcoal, like charcoal barbecue-ish kind of thing.
Oh man, but there's never been any kind of scotch that I've encountered that makes me want to not eat barbecue. So I feel like all of it would work, whether it's peaty or smoky.
Yeah. So a friend of mine asked me yesterday what whiskey to drink. He was like at a pretty fancy place, and he was having some fish. And so once he told me that, I said, yeah, you should definitely have whatever he showed me, like it was the same whiskey but different barrels. And so I said, definitely pick the sherry, so you can balance out all of that saltiness. Sometimes when I'm drinking like very smoky whiskeys, I tend to want to wait till after the meal, because sometimes all of that salty and smoke can sort of not go as smoothly as you'd think with what you're drinking, but definitely with barbecue, it was a nice experience that time. So anyway, Vampires versus the Bronx. Some of the notes I have on the movie is I thought it was a mix of Super 8, Stranger Things, the It reboot, Scout's Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse, and Nothing Like the Holidays. Because you got to put the adobo in somewhere.
Oh, the adobo! I live.
You know which movie is Nothing Like the Holidays? It's a movie that's one of these multi-cast movies. Like they have like 7 to 8 actors, and so it's this movie from the early 2000s about Christmas in Chicago, and so it's a Puerto Rican family in Chicago, and so that's why I thought it kind of reminded me of that. They have these like Pinteresque scenes of Chicago, and the Puerto Rican flag painted everywhere in the Latino neighborhoods, and going to the market and listening to salsa in the market. So I felt like,
Oh,
it reminded me
There
of
were
that
some
a lot.
times where they put on that music and the subtitle just says upbeat Spanish music. And I'm like, nope, that's Monchi and Alexandra right there. I recognize
Yeah.
the song.
Oh yeah, no, it was Dominican as fuck. Like that movie had so much bachata. It had probably more bachata than the last
And
Ozuna movie. Like it probably had more bachata than the last Ozuna movie.
But definitely not as much bachata as Sankey Panky too.
Oh yeah. One of the jokes I was trying to come up with, I said this is the most Dominican movie I've ever seen since Sankey Panky 3: The Revenge of Mangoo. So Jay, do you feel that this movie effectively captures the essence of the Bronx, of the Bronx?
Absolutely, it does.
yes.
Like, but they said a lot of really true adages about the Bronx while during the movie. Stuff like if you go missing from the Bronx, people don't know or whatever. But we also like all come together to defend the Bronx. Like anyone could say, we can say that the Bronx is a shithole, but if anyone from outside the Bronx says it's a shithole, we're gonna fight. We're throwing hands.
I mean, I really felt like when I was watching this movie, I felt like I was visiting you every time. Like I felt like I was on the train, gonna go see you up in the Bronx.
Nope.
And we were gonna hang out, stop by the local market, get some presidentes or something.
Why are you calling it the local market? Everyone knows it's the bodega.
Yes.
The bodega.
The bodega, which has that cat who's actually the manager. Everyone knows, of course.
Oh my gosh, have you
Even
ever
my
had a-
dad's bodega had a cat as a manager. Like everybody knows. He liked to sit with the bread. Like there was,
I want to hear all about your father's bodega's cat. Like, tell us everything about the cat.
so he was a brown tabby. That's about all I remember. It used to be so sweet to me when I would close up at night because like she would come over for cuddles, just like kind of pressing her body against my leg, and I'd be like, oh. I think she was marking her territory, but you know.
Like this.
Yeah.
He's mine. He's mine.
What was her name?
I don't remember. I don't think they had a name.
Just bodega
It was
cat.
just the cat, bodega cat.
Your dad just picked up a cat one day and went like, "Coño, coño,
You're hired.
here."
This is absolutely not a bodega cat, but my sister's roommate brought to their apartment that had a lot of mice a cat literally in a Whole Foods bag, like a paper bag, like there was a cat in it, and they were like, "We found this on the street, and we think it could help our mouse problem."
Yep.
We all have fun ties to cats.
I mean, that's realistically what the cat is for, if you think about it.
Honestly, their
Trade
cat
secret.
right? Oh my god, the mouse problem completely stopped once that Whole Foods bag was open and the cat came out.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, Jess, I'm
Love
starting
it?
I'm starting to reconsider it. Yeah,
You
Yeah.
love it.
Just get another one.
I
no
love
big
it.
deal.
I know. Actually, the price I get it locally is like $70 minus tax, so that's not bad.
Right?
I've seen it sell for $100.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of price that I was like, that I had in mind, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna. I'd rather get the 61% Abuna for basically close to the same price.
Nice.
But I think I'm gonna have to have both of them together because it's an experience. Or maybe Jess, when you visit,
I'll bring a bottle.
you bring the bottle. Hey, it's good.
I got it.
Yeah, next time we see each other, we'll get like a 14 or something. Make it
Yes.
spicy.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have the 14 at home, so. But yeah, in case we go visit you, then we can get.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Hey, man,
But-
I have beds.
Jesus. How many sleepovers have we had since we were kids? Like
1,400 and a half.
100, yeah. Wow. So, I mean, this movie kind of represents something that I both like and hate about, or love and hate about today in the film industry, which is that anything can happen And so this movie is kind of the product of like, well, anything can happen. Let's put Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and a vampire movie, and you know, and make like a beautiful tribute and homage to the Bronx while we bring in this like teen flick, this kind of like again, like kind of like Scout's Guide to a Zombie Apocalypse kind of feel. And so it's like that mix of anything can happen, so let's be like inclusive, but then also like let's make a beautiful tribute to the Bronx. So that's something that I really felt. I didn't feel like this was just sort of like played in. Like when they in movies they use like a random setting, and you know that it's random. It's like, oh, so he's in Italy. What's he doing in Italy? Nah, he's just in Italy. He's in 1940s Britain. Okay, cool. What's he doing there?
Being British.
Some boring shit. Let's just talk about his love interest.
Yeah.
No, this movie really, like, the people who made this like the Bronx, you know?
Yeah.
They really Bronx,
brought it to life.
Right, and they wanted to. They made the statement. I mean, the movie had tostones in the end, for fuck's sake. Tostones, arroz con gandules.
Oh my god.
This movie
Empanadillas,
cares.
the pastelillos. By the way.
Pastelillos.
Let me correct myself.
Yeah. Oh god, we have that fight back home, like.
I think that's probably one of the first arguments.
Yep. I don't fucking care. They all taste good.
Exactly.
So
I think that's
I guess,
one of the first fights we had as friends.
Yeah.
It's just figuring out the difference
I need to hear all
between
about this
pastelillos and empanadillas.
I don't remember.
I'm making it up.
He's making it up. Yeah. So, what you guys feel as this being kind of like, you know, it's a vampire movie. So, did you guys feel like, how is it on your vampire movie standards? Do you feel like it's respectful to the genre, parodying the genre? Is it trying to be a scary vampire movie?
Is it a parody?
Right?
I'm not even sure. Like, this movie was so well done.
Yeah.
And like actually respects the subject matters that it talks about, that I don't even feel like it was a parody or you know, making fun of the genre at all. I think this feels like a genuine vampire movie based in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a genuine Bronx movie about vampires. I'm not sure.
It kind of has like a little, you know what I just thought of? It reminds me a little bit of The Lost Boys. You know, it has like a little bit of a Latin Lost Boys kind of feel, but it tries to be a bit more funny. It certainly doesn't try to be like a standalone vampire movie, kind of like an Underworld or Van Helsing. It's not trying to be one of those, but that's okay. You know, the movie is like, I really feel this. It's a coming of age tale, and it's like, and it's like in the background of being Latino, and not just Latino, but being Latino in the Bronx, because it's like, you know, it's kind of like different, because, you know, being Latino in the Spanish-speaking country, or the country where your culture comes from, you see a lot of things change constantly. You see the culture change, but when people move out and they move into the US or move into a European country, their culture just kind of seems to always stay the same. And there seems to be like these like the strict mom, you know, she'll hit you with the chancla. I was dying, like that part where they're like in the standoff against the vampire, and they just like, you know, they bring the chancla, they bring like the broom, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is so funny.
I was dying of laughter when she got hit by the Tim. I was like, she learned about the chancla. She learned how to do it with the Tims instead. That's advanced.
It kind of makes me feel like, you ever see these there's this meme about, you know, the cookie container, the metal cookie containers that we used to buy as kids, like Danish cookies or some shit.
With the sewing stuff?
Yeah, and so and so they'd go like, only Latinos know that what's in here, or, you know, they know that basically it's not going to be cookies. And so like some white dude replied like, oh, it's shitty cookies in a jar, like what else? And people like, we're gonna have to explain to the white dude, or the white dude trying to act like he knows what he's talking about. Like, we used to have those at home and just like fill them with crap, like your keys, your phone chargers, everything, just fit it into that thing.
I think for me, I was immediately hooked to the movie because right off the jump, Vivian, one of the I guess we can spoil it, right? Vivian is like that one white girl who moves to the Bronx, and everyone's like, "Are you lost, miss?
Yeah, what's that
White people in the
called?
Bronx, you came here by choice?"
Is it? It's not called appropriation. What's the term for when like white people move into neighborhoods?
Gentrification.
Gentrification. Yeah. And so that movie also has like messages on like gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what Jay Lewis mentioned.
Bro, did you see the kinds of storefronts that were in this movie? Like, there was like coming soon, antique shop. We don't do antique now
that
here.
crap. Yeah. Oh God. So I think they also really made like a good criticism of like instead of like people focusing on improving these maybe the communities in such a sense like providing more jobs or infrastructure or better infrastructure to the people that live in those neighborhoods. No, it's like, yeah, we're gonna buy the building out, kick you guys out, and make a fucking gelato shop that's 3 stories tall and has a Victoria's Secret shop in the top. It's like, no, God. One thing that I also liked, it practically represents all of the races and all the the melting pot of cultures that is the Bronx, especially Caribbean ones. You know, you have Dominicans, mostly Dominicans, but you have a Puerto Rican, you have a Haitian girl, and then there's also African Americans, and then the gentrifying white people. So I think all the movie was missing was Mexicans, for the most part. But like, yeah, the movie does
there aren't really a lot of Mexicans in the Bronx if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
There are a lot in like New Rochelle up north, but not really in the Bronx so much.
Yeah, that's true.
And
like
so
in
I was like, okay, that's accurate.
Puerto
They didn't have
exactly.
They didn't have the stereotypical Hispanic dude, which is that Mexican guy from every movie. It was legitimately like a good indicator of the actual like statistical population of the Bronx.
Right, and so one good thing, one thing that I really loved is also how often do you see the Bronx portrayed in film, right?
And how often do you see it portrayed positively?
Right? They always portray it as like dangerous places, just like they do with Harlem, right? They go like, oh man, like the Bronx, Harlem, Jesus.
Yeah,
Queens,
Harlem's either the Apollo, and it's like all or
right. As long as it's not a shot of Manhattan, the Empire State, Times Square, which is what they usually do in film. Right?
I was expecting to see a lot of landmarks from the Bronx, just because I expected it to be a parody going in. And no, we didn't really see landmarks. We saw neighborhoods where my grandparents lived, neighborhoods where my exes lived. Like, I recognize so many of those spots. Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing. It was made there. They didn't outsource this movie. They made it there. It's also reminds me of the recent Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse. It's a very New York movie. Yeah. It's a Latin movie. It's a mixed culture, mixed race movie. Yeah. It's like it's real. Yeah. It's an attempt at realness that doesn't fail the people that it represents, and rather gives a tribute to the different cultures and does it so beautifully. And I really felt this with this film. It's as a standalone. Yeah. I
liked that when they were telling the Haitian girl about the vampire, she was like, "Oh, I'm Haitian. I believe it. We were born ready for this." Like they did it. That wasn't a joke. That was literally like the culture's there. Like you believe what you believe,
Yeah.
And they didn't make fun of it at all. They were like, "All right, come through. We're going."
I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's just really like shows that representation of Latin cultures and Latin actors and Latin characters, can be done on screen without like pandering to the common denominator, pandering to diversity. It can be done in an inspiring way, and it doesn't feel like from a colonizer point of view.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie just really did all these things, and as a standalone horror flick, it probably wouldn't be number one on anybody's list because it's not really a horror flick. It's not trying to be that. It's like a modern satirical tribute to the genre, just like Scout's Guide. It's not a Walking Dead dramatic tribute to zombie movies. It's kind of like just making fun of the whole thing and having fun with it, while also creating a very nice tale of coming of age, of what it means to be a kid, what it means to grow up. And I guess I could conclude with don't insult the Bronx, okay?
I love it.
So do you think that this movie will get a sequel? Yes or no?
It doesn't need one.
Doesn't need one.
This is a great standalone movie.
Yeah.
I mean, to be
it's a
honest,
good watch with some friends, have a drink or two.
Yeah.
Play a drinking game with it, even on a rewatch. Just
to be honest, I would enjoy a sequel in which a new monster comes in, like maybe Werewolves versus the Bronx or something like that. That would be funny. It would be a nice attempt. I just don't want to see what they something like what they did with the Babysitter, Killer Queen, like the second Babysitter movie on Netflix. I have really mixed feelings about it. The first one was enjoyable. It was, again, a parody of horror thrillers and the genre itself, but I don't think this movie needs a sequel. And I think the representation was there. Freaking tostones and arroz con gandules and pastelillos were there. So, love this movie. Highly recommend it. And it's a great movie to watch during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
And a Halloween movie as well. So I love that Netflix did that whole mix of things. Hispanic Heritage Month and Halloween. Any final thoughts, you guys, on the movie?
It's good.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
And Jess is like, I loved it, okay?
I promise, don't hate me.
She has to, right? She can't say anything else. We're like all looking at Jess like, Jess, if you don't like this movie, we're going to cancel you. Okay.
I mean, like, I like gelato and antiques, so I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm not an antiques person. I am a gelato person, but I also like regular ice cream, so...
I know.
Please don't gentrify my neighborhood.
Oh my gosh, no. It made me want to go to the Bronx so bad, even though, like, I don't want to be seen as, like, the Vivian.
They should bring it... Do they have in the Bronx the little ice cream carts that they have in Puerto Rico? You know, the metal ones with, like...
Yep.
Yeah, with
they
the like
shown in the very
fruit-made
beginning,
ice cream,
yes.
like real fruit. Oh my gosh!
You gotta get the cocoa ones.
I know. Well, guys,
like the best flavors are cherry, cocoa, and piña. That's coming from me.
Well, that's our ending. Cherry, cocoa, piña, and this movie's great. So be sure to catch it. And it was lovely to have you guys again.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, friends.
My only regret is not having more of this. Cheers.
Cheers.
Sláinte.